And welcome. Good afternoon. It's 1:30. Hello and welcome. Today is Tuesday, March 26th, and it's 1:30 in the afternoon. Welcome to the Town of Highland Beach Town Commission, a special meeting here today. And I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we could have the roll call, please.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Present.
Commissioner Peters.
Present.
Commissioner David.
Present.
Vice Mayor Stern.
Present.
Mayor Moore.
Present.
Town Manager Labadie.
Present.
Thank you.
Excellent. If we could all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I do have a proposed change for the agenda, just to have resolution number 2024-006 to come first. And then have the resolution 2024-004 to be second, and to just rename item number 6 to be resolutions. I think the order of the swearing in will be better. Does anybody else have any changes to the?
No changes.
If that's okay, if we could have a motion?
I move we accept the agenda as amended. Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item is public comments. Would anyone like to come up and make a public comment? Go ahead. Please state your name. Go ahead, Ron, your turn. You could state your name and where you live.
Yes, that's on. Ron Rayame, Dalton Place. I just wanted to express my feelings again about, which I did the last meeting, about naming the firehouse after Doug Hillman. I really believe that he was by far the most instrumental person in having this happen, and I'd certainly like to see that occur. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? No. Okay. Moving along to resolutions, resolution number 2024-006, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Highland Beach, Florida, for assistance 2024 under the Florida Inland Navigation District Waterways Assistance Program and providing for an effective date.
Mayor, Commissioners, good afternoon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The resolution before you today is for your approval for a 50% matching grant through the Florida Inland Navigation District Waterway Assistance Program. This grant for funding is to support the establishment of a town-owned dock to serve police and fire department. Proposed dock will be installed behind the town library and will service public safety needs for the police and fire. How we got here, as you know, is after 3 serious boating accidents, the town created a police marine unit in 2022. And the police boat is being kept at the dock slip at Boca Highland Marina. And Boca Highland has been gracious and generous to let us keep our boat there in the water. They do a great job of partnership with us and teamwork over the years. Really can't say enough good things about Boca Highland. Phase 1 of this project includes the design, engineering, and permitting. Total estimated cost for phase 1 of $100,000. So matching grant would mean $50,000 for the town for our portion of this. The process is, if approved here, this application must be submitted by April 1st. And then we would have to give a presentation to the Fine Commission in Cocoa Beach in June. And it's at their meeting that they vote on what projects they fund. And if they fund this project, those funds would be dispersed on October 1st. This would begin the process of the design, engineering, and the permitting. And then in January, we would start the process all over again. And that would be to reapply for the construction portion of the dock. Dr. Jenkins, our marine consultant of record for the town, estimated the project to complete this for construction would probably be in excess of $1 million. We really don't know real numbers of that until phase one is completed and we have our engineering firms do all of this work for the town. This was a team effort. This was done by our police department, Major Michael and Steve Salak, our Marine unit, both have experience in marine grant projects, and they worked with our town planner, Ingrid Allen, Skin Tacoma from the town manager's office, and our marine expert consultant, Mike Jenkins, who's instrumental in really knowing the ins and outs of the marine waterways and the systems and the fine grants. They're the ones who completed this comprehensive application, met with the commissioner in Jupiter, and they're the team that will give that presentation to Cocoa Beach in June. And in their meeting with the commissioner in Jupiter, he was really enthused with the presentation and the information that he get. They get all different requests for grants, but this was for a public safety dock, something that wasn't anywhere like that in this area. Two cities north or south of us have something, but certainly nothing in the town where we can get to people and get to patients and rescue, have a fire department that's there with us right now. So they were real enthused to see that type of project being moved forward for us. He was encouraged because we also proposed a message board. So at the end of that dock, we would have a message board that we can put information out for boating safety, regulations, all those type of things, speeding, and that would help the boating waterway public there in our area. And we know moving forward with our own fire department, we'll be doing joint training, deployments, and having a dock in your town gives you that accessibility, that functionality, or boat maintenance, things that we have to stay on top of. And it'll bring those other marine units to the town. Right now, we're at a slip in Boca Highland. You don't know we're there. FWC, the different units that patrol up and down the intercoastal. It'll give us that prominent public safety piece in the town on our intercoastal. That's the application. You have everything in front of you for just phase one of this project. And we won't have any real numbers until after that is complete. But it's a 50-50 matching grant for anything in this project that's approved. Any questions? And certainly they have more expertise than I, as they went through this process, that can answer any technical questions you may have.
Yes, I do. How many slips are we looking at?
So one dock would have a floating dock and a boat lift to get our boat out of the water. Our boat sits in the water now, not ideal for anybody that has a boat that knows that. So,
So it's for our one, to accommodate what we have now.
correct.
Okay. What is the funding plan on the $1 million?
That's,
Well, first part of the grant, let's design and get the actual cost, and our 50% match will come out of our discretionary sales tax account. We do have some dollars freed up for the first match. After that, then we're gonna have to see what those costs are. If it is in fact $1 million and we got to come up with half of it, that's something we'll have to look at, see how our revenue projections come in next year. But we would, have to look at, it really depends on the exact number. If we want to go to cash or if we would go to some combination of things. We'll still be at the very end of the discretionary sales tax. So we'll get one more distribution. So we might be able to do part from discretionary, part from reserves to come up with our match, but we'll just have to see where the numbers are. If it grows beyond that, then we'll have to think about what we want to do.
So it's not anticipating that we have to go to referendum on this.
No. If it is, that's a heck of a dock and I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I've already
Yeah.
had shell shock from the initial estimate. But it does have some unique elements to it for the rescue component. Because you can't just have a boat that's, 3 feet or so below the surface of the dock and then pull a patient up. So we needed something from the boat to a lift to the dock, and then that has to be compliant and ADA compliant, so we can move a gurney all the way around and do those type of rescues. So, and then we have to get water down there to rinse the boat off, be able to transport fuel, things of that. So. It'll be expensive, but I'm hoping not to that amount.
We think he may have estimated high for us understanding that, but we really won't know until an engineers look at this.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's a wonderful idea because that puts you where you're visible, even when no one is out on the boat. It's in the middle of town. And while Boca Highlands is very happy to offer you dock space as long as we need it, you can't get people out of the boat quite that easily over there. I think the idea of a floating dock is great because that does make things much easier. You're not climbing up or climbing down. And I'm all in favor of this, and especially since we can combine it with life safety issues. Anything we can do to improve that is good in my book. So,
Yeah, thank you. And you make a good point. I'm not sure if everybody's even aware of that. There is no public access point anywhere in this town. Everywhere we come on and off that boat is through somebody's private piece of property, mostly Boca Highland, but there's really no place where we were able to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where, I have one, more. Where is the lift, the dock going to be? Right behind?
Yeah,
Right
directly
behind the
behind us here.
library. Okay,
Right.
okay.
I think it's excellent. The only question I have is the foundation participating at all in this project?
Not as of yet, until we really look at kind of the numbers for everything that we're looking at, we can see what their involvement could be in some fundraising opportunities. Of course, we've already talked about that.
Yeah, so in general, I'm in favor of the concept. I guess my question is, so this, what we are looking to do is just a resolution to make application for the 50, the assistance, right? That's what this is about.
Correct. We need the
Just
town
to-
approval to,
So is there a chance we wouldn't get the matching, the 50,000 matching?
there's always a chance. It didn't seem like that from the impression that they got meeting with our commissioner for this area, especially the enthusiasm for the type of project, because they fund very different type of projects throughout the county, the state. Yeah. So it didn't seem like it was a concern.
Okay, so in the unlikely event that they don't match, do we still have the opportunity to not move forward with this phase one?
Correct.
We
We're
do.
not committed to do anything.
So this is just to make the application to
Make
see
the
if we will
application.
get the 50% matching.
Correct.
So we're really not at, so if they do approve the matching, are we then on the hook to move forward?
Yeah, with the design
On
only.
the hook.
Correct.
The
So,
design,
so
yeah.
we're basically committing 50,000 right now, assuming they do the matching.
Correct.
And then are we also committed to complete the rest of the project, or it comes before us again that we consider?
Correct. Everything would come before you again, once
Okay.
that design is complete. Then we would make the determinations if we're moving forward, if we're not, or doing something different.
And at that point, would it be a much more firm number on the construction of it? Because right now
Completely.
you're kind of estimating 1 million, but at that, at the end of the design, we would know a hard number.
You would
for
know
the-
exactly what it would
Okay.
entail. Yes,
And then at that point, I guess you're saying January 1, we go make another application for matching, and then we see if we get the matching.
that's correct.
And then is it likely if we got the matching on phase 1, is it likely we'll get the matching on phase 2?
That's what we believe. If they're
Okay.
supporting the project at that point, when we return them for that funding, they would support that also.
Okay. And so the general the scope of it, it's to build a dock, it's to put a sign, you're saying? Like, I guess, could you go over what is the overriding scope?
Sure,
the project?
it's a dock that would start here and have to work its way around the library and all the way out 220 feet into the intercoastal to get a dock. So you'd be out there, and they have message boards that you could deploy on there that's like you see on our, on A, same thing like you see, we deploy on A1A. And we could give you, safety, boating safety messages, updates, laws, regulations, manatee zones, all those type of things. So they're encouraged that they see that type of interaction with the community. So it'll give us that place where we don't have right now to get out to the intercoastal and have those kind of messages on a daily, weekly basis, whatever we determine the need
So it'll be
is.
an electronic sign, with
Correct.
lights, a
Mhm.
lighted sign
Correct.
that no
That we
matter
can
whether you're coming
program.
from the south or the north, you're gonna see the message on the
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
And then you're saying it would have water, obviously
Electric.
electricity, a floating dock, a lift.
Yes.
And I guess really probably what's so expensive is the dock, right? Going all the way out there and.
The size, the length of it, the
Right,
pilings, the thing that have to be done to
Right.
get to that, anything that we talk about in the water and the sea area there, it's becomes
Right.
very expensive.
right. So is this a firm number, the 100,000, or?
Yes, that's our commitment to that if we move forward with this part.
Could it be less? It couldn't be more? Because it just seems like,
Definitely
a
be
lot,
less is what they
right?
said.
100,000 for just it's the plan, it's the permitting
It's a design,
and design,
just like we did for the fire department, same.
So
right?
The engineering can be expensive, especially if we put out surveys, we're gonna have to do seagrass survey. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. We're gonna, topographic survey, engineering designs, plans. It gets expensive. Engineering catches up on you pretty quickly.
It's not an unreasonable amount. Okay, okay.
Well, this is added to our strategic priorities.
It is, yeah.
Definitely.
That's right.
Another one on.
Chief, you said construction, there might be some grants out there for construction, maybe we can.
So that's
Yeah.
also a matching grant, but there may be other things
Other
that we
things
would,
that we
we
can
would
do.
certainly search. And we talked about this, the foundation is shifted to incorporate our fire department now. So it's the Highland Beach Police and Fire Foundation. And that could be something that, a campaign type of thing that they would raise money for. So we got a ways to go, but there's options for us out there.
And they have to remember that it's not just a narrow dock. It's got to be wider because if they've got gurneys
Right.
and
right.
EMTs running alongside the gurneys, it's got to be wide enough and sturdy enough that it will hold that.
Well, this will complement the array of services that we have.
Yeah, and,
in
and, and,
towns.
and, and
Very
you're
appropriate.
absolutely right about that. I mean, we have 3 miles of intercoastal, we have canals, we have a beach, we have our own fire department. We really envision, increasing all of those services. We have a dive instructor for our department, for the fire department also, rescue teams, these type of things that we want to train. We don't have that environment to do that without a dock. It makes it very difficult. It makes it a challenge just to get to deployment if we're not on the boat. So we've had some urgent times like that. So this is not really a nicety. I think at this point where we are as a municipality and public safety of what we evolved to, these are one of those things that are necessary now.
Would certainly be helpful if there's any more accidents, which undoubtedly there will be
Yeah.
because there are. Certainly help to save people's lives because of the proximity.
Sure.
And I think that the visual presence will have a lot to do with the operators on the waterways
Yes.
and promote more caution, hopefully. Great, thank you.
And I'm glad it's an electric sign, so we can change the message.
Correct. You can
As
program it as well.
opposed to the outdated signs that are out there on the intercoastal now.
Correct.
Much more modern way, and able to change the message
Agreed.
as needed. So yeah, as long as this 100,000 is a reasonable, rely on you saying that this is a reasonable amount, and then we'll revisit the construction costs once you have a more firm estimate, and hopefully we will get the matching. That would definitely help.
Sure.
Because it does benefit everyone, not just Highland Beach.
course.
So hopefully, like you said, they're excited about this project. So this helps anyone that's boating along our section
Great.
of the intercoastal. So I'm in favor of it as well. So
Yep.
if everyone's in favor, maybe we,
Yes.
if we could have a motion.
I move that we adopt resolution number 2024-006.
I'll second.
Do you need a roll call?
Commissioner David,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Peters,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stern,
Yes.
and Mayor Moore.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank
Thank
you. Next item on the agenda, resolution number 2024-004. A resolution of the Commission of the Town of Highland Beach, Florida, declaring each unopposed candidate elected to office and providing for an effective date. So who presents that item? Or we just move to do this?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Once we get a motion to approve the resolution,
Okay.
then Linelda will swear each of you in. And again, congratulations.
Thank you. No, I guess not. No.
That we adopt resolution number 2024-004.
I'll second it.
Commissioner David, Commissioner Peters,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stern,
Yes.
and Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. Next item is to be sworn in.
We will have Mayor Moore. I,
I,
Natasha Moore,
Natasha Moore,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
against all enemies, domestic or foreign,
against all enemies, domestic and foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same,
to the same.
and I am entitled to hold office
And I am entitled to hold office
under the Constitution of the United States
under the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida.
and that I will faithfully perform
And I will faithfully perform
all the duties of the office
all the duties of the office
of mayor
of mayor,
on which I am about to enter.
of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Vice Mayor Stern. I, David Stern,
I, David Stern,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and that I am entitled to hold office
and that I am entitled to hold office
under the Constitution of the United States
of the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Florida,
and the Constitution of the state of Florida,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
all the duties of the office of Vice Mayor
all of the duties of the office of Vice Mayor
on which I am about to enter.
of what I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Commissioner Goldberg. I, Judith Goldberg,
I, Judith Goldberg,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend,
that I will support,
protect
and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic and foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same.
to the same.
And I am entitled to hold office
And I am entitled to hold office
under the Constitution of the United States
under the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of the state of Florida,
and the Constitution of the state of Florida,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
all the duties of the office of Commissioner
all the duties of the office of Commissioner
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to Vice Mayor and the Commissioner. Really excited to start a whole new cycle. Thank you very much for all of everyone's support. Really appreciate it. Moving on to unfinished business, the fire rescue implementation update.
So as you can see, we're just about there. So we got Matt will give you some other updates. Our fire marshal will give you some more updates too, but we have a temp as of last Friday. So all our fire rescue folks are inside training and we're finishing up punch list items, getting the grass ready, getting that done, some final electrical. So, you know, we're ready to go. So come May 1st, we will be official. But as promised, we are delivering to the residents, their fire rescue department on time and under budget, ready to go. So very pleased. Signs are going up, so it's really the final form is start taking off. And then as that's wrapping up, we're also going to repaint town hall. So it all kind of ties together right now. There's this little ugly building behind it. You notice that's town hall. So we're going to paint that as well and bring that up to speed. So it looks as nice or as close to as nice as the fire station. So we're really excited. Matt, you got anything you wanted to add?
I think, good afternoon, everybody, first and foremost. As town manager said, we onboarded everybody over the last 3 weeks. So they're all here. You're gonna see them out on the road. As a matter of fact, today, they broke up into 4 groups, the different each shift, and they're hitting different buildings, doing familiarization. Myself and driver engineer Joe Brooks have gone through like all but maybe 2 buildings so far and done pre-fire plans, and you guys have all seen us out there running around doing that. And I'm going to be getting back to the different buildings and talk to them about some of the issues that we discovered. Nothing that, we can't handle. It's just stuff that comes up. Chief Joseph says, wish he could be here, but he is out of town right now. As Marshall said, the landscaping is going on. We're getting the front area all cleaned up. So if you drive out there right now, we had him pull in the dumpster to really try to get the property cleaned up. I was after him about that for the last 2 days. Building's looking really nice. We have the ribbon cutting on the 19th. We're working on all that, and the plan and the ceremony for that. Chief Joseph wanted to let you know that they're sending out the guest list notifications this week and hope to have a final guest list by around April 4th. And we're planning the program. That's it. We did do myself and Jeff Remus signed off on the TCO last Friday. So the building is occupied. We're using it right now for training and everything else. So can't spend the night there yet. Not ready for that, but we're getting very close. I don't know if y'all have any questions that could answer about anything related to any of that.
No, I was just gonna say, it was nice to see the captains that we just hired. And they stop at our building and are going up the line, seeing where the fire hydrants were, being all proactive, make sure all the elevators are properly, they can get the gurney in there and that. So it's, thank you for being proactive on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have 44 high-rise and mid-rise buildings. Not one of them is the same. Each property, you know, because of course we had the first building built in 1959. And most of the last building in the 90s, I think. So every building's unique. You know, there's certain, we have, you know, inside corridors, outside corridor. We have everything you could possibly mix in there. But it's part of the challenge, and that's why they're out there today. So we want to be able to provide the concierge service that you guys, you know, voted to get in there. And so that's our expectations. We want to meet your expectations.
And I would say that I've been wildly impressed with the seriousness of purpose with the staff we have brought on. They've been very focused, very determined, very forthright and serious all the way through this. So we will be ready for the firsts.
Absolutely. And we've had good cooperation, I must say, with Delray in the transition. So at least at, you know, at our level, it's been good. And, you know, we're working with the other, with the county and Boca as well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to a joint meeting with the other two fire marshals on April 16th for the Beach Condo Association. So we're looking forward to that. We all intend to, you know, we're all on the same page and on many issues and not every issue, but many issues. And we're going to be there to support each other and everybody along the beach.
Second Tuesday.
All right.
Well, this is excellent news. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the proactiveness that the team is doing. Right, I saw them walking up and down A1A as I drove to the meeting today. So I think that's really excellent and key to the success is being proactive and getting familiar with all the properties. It's fantastic that everything is ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
That's great. And I'm really pleased to hear that we will be ready to go May 1st.
We will.
When it's time. So I guess one question. So when are you able to sleep there? You said.
Well, so we're the expectation for us to take over services from Delray is sometime morning of April 30th, actually.
Okay.
And then, you know, so that night would probably be the first night. We don't want to, you know, the contract starts, you know, ends on at midnight. But we're gonna do that transition sometime on the 30th. They're gonna stand by until later in the day in case we need anything at the station, and probably, you know, sometime after 6 or 7 o'clock, they'll move their units out, or well, our units will stay there and they'll move their personnel out to the other side. So.
Well, thank you to Delray for being supportive in this transition. That's really comforting to know that they are being supportive and helping us in this transition. I think that's really excellent. So
yep.
Thank you, Delray.
Anybody else?
No, thank you. Thank you very much for all the hard work. And I think it's wonderful that you go into all the communities, all the high rise. And this is terrific. Is it all with respect to the fire hydrants, or are you going to do an orientation with the buildings?
So what we've been doing, when we do a pre-fire plan, we're going to the buildings, you know, yes, we're walking around the outside, we're determining where the fire hydrants are in location with regard to the building proximity, the fire department connection, where we would have to connect our fire truck to the building to support the infrastructure of firefighting in the building, the standpipes and all that. We go to the fire pump room. We check the garages for a number of different things. Generally, that's where the backup generator is. We're looking for the gas shutoffs. All the buildings have some sort of, whether it's boilers, pool heaters, different things that are run on natural gas. We're looking to where the shutoffs are that. We're understanding where the elevators are. We locate those we're using a program called First Due. And we can actually, on an overhead satellite view of the map, we can place where all the stairwells are Depending on whether the stairwell has firefighter capabilities in there, we put red. If it's just an exit stair, we put green, those types of things. So we're putting all the information on that building. So as soon as that alarm comes in, the cap can pull that up on the laptop or the iPad in the truck and has a lot of different options. If it's an EMS call, we have an EMS layer in the program. And then we have a fire layer. And it's just different, but you don't want to put too much information on a layer. But it's a little bit different. It's a great program. And so that's what Joe and I were out doing was loading all that initial information in. Of course, I'm also doing some limited inspection of the property because we're going to the roofs when we go everywhere. We go to the elevator machine rooms, which is up on the roofs, go through the whole property, and put a lot of information in. Some places we need to put in codes for access. We need to put in locations for the Knox box where we can get the keys, just a lot of different things that, you don't necessarily think of, but we need to be important. As much as like how we're going to get somebody out of the building through either, whether it's the parking garage, whether we can drive up onto a ramp or not, all that is, gone into this process. So.
Excellent.
Excellent.
We couldn't have asked for anything better than on time and under budget. That's the best of all worlds. And I think calling this a concierge fire department is an excellent description. That's what we want this town to be. We want a concierge police department and we want a concierge fire department because that's the best service.
Yep.
Period, bar none.
And that's our expectations as we communicated to our personnel, on day one. They understand that. And, we're going to hold them to that concept. So.
Excellent, thank you. My building manager was extremely impressed with the visit, the discussions, and we're real excited about it. The one topic which they brought up, which I think needs more, and you're aware of more investigation, is the issue of electric bicycles as well as vehicles. That we have to come up with some clear guidelines. Because there is a real danger, especially within a condo, of having an electric bike sitting in a garage and so forth. So that's something that really needs attention. But I thank you for.
Yeah, so there's kind of a three-pronged thing there. I'm going to be sending out a generic letter to all, now that I've got all one of the other things we did was updated all the contact information. So we have multiple layers of contacts within each building, including the property managers and whether it's the president of the board, but some other person that's there all the time. I have 5 different items that I'm going to address, but I'll just talk on the one that you mentioned. But the electric cars, electric vehicles, we found a lot of buildings where, because we have people that are, here maybe 4 or 5 months out of the year, they're parking their car in the parking garages and putting them on trickle chargers, not electric vehicles. They're just putting their battery on a trickle charger. That's a problem. And I've talked to a lot of the property managers and they don't have a problem working with the residents to they get notification prior to them arriving a day or two. Yeah, go ahead and put the trickle charger on there and leave it, but don't put that on and leave it that way for 4 or 5 months. And that's what's happening. So, that's one issue. The electric vehicles inside parking garages is a very difficult thing for us as firefighters. If we do have an electric vehicle fire in there, there's not enough water to put them out. That's a problem for the EVs. So, what I've talked to some of the managers about when they ask me, where they could put charging units or things like that, I would put them somewhere on the outside of the building, not in the parking garage. We did come across some chargers that have been put in some of the parking garages, very few, but some, but I would, recommend against that. I can only make certain recommendations right now. The technology is rapidly changing. The fire code is, as I think most of I sit on the fire code advisory committee. I have the first meeting. We just finished the cycle. We have our first meeting of the next cycle, May 16th. And this is going to be a big topic of discussion. The state put on an electric vehicle a lithium ion battery symposium back in October that I attended up in Ocala State Fire College. They had industry people from all over the place. I think I mentioned this in previous time I got up here, but point being, that's going to be a significant issue. The scooters and the bikes, definitely a problem. I mean, you know, you can go on YouTube and just put in electric bike fire, electric scooter fire, and there's a lot of stuff in there that's kind of scary. So, you know, recommending trying to keep that stuff outside, especially do not bring it into your unit. Definitely keep it. I've talked to a few managers about, you know, putting something on the outside edge of a parking garage in an area that's not really designated for a vehicle, but, you know, would probably be fairly safe, and we would have access where we could grab that and pull it out of the garage if we needed to rather easily. And that's we're looking at, you know, different techniques. There's some fire blankets that are out there that you can throw over the vehicle. It's not going to put the fire out, but it's going to keep, you know, dampen it down. There's a lot of things coming out, that, you know, hopefully will, you know, and then technology, better batteries that don't have these problems over time. We'll probably get to some more updated technology over the next, I mean, think about where electric vehicles were 20 years ago and where they are now. So, it's going to be interesting.
Great. Thanks for
Thank
staying on
you.
top of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
You know, I think that moving forward, we should have, I would like that to be a point of discussion, and examination for us, particularly the electric bikes that I know even in my community, there are residents who have electric bikes, and we're looking at it, our board seriously in the upcoming months. So I'd like to see the town do that as well. And perhaps work with the state, see what the state is doing, if anything, and be in the forefront of that.
I think we're all nodding yes, that
Yeah.
we're all in support of that. So yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Maybe we could add that to a strategic thing. We'll add it to the strategic plan
Great,
to
thank you.
keep that on the forefront. Next item, continued discussion of Milani Park. Oh, yes, go ahead. Yes. Sorry, go ahead. Public comment. Go ahead. Yes, absolutely.
Jack Halpern, 45 Ocean. Thank you for your briefing. What I didn't hear mentioned, unless I missed it, is there any thought in terms of looking at elevator rescue? I know that's been a hot subject in our condominium over the last year and a half, and we've had a couple of people trapped up to an hour to 2 hours. So I just want to throw that out as a question.
Yes, yeah, real quick on elevator rescue. So we're prepared for that. That was one of the things when we went out and did the pre-fire plans. We go locate all the elevators, go to the elevator machine rooms. Part of what may occur is knowing that we need to shut an elevator down. We know where access is for all the elevator keys. So we're prepared for that. That's I don't want to call anything routine, but those are things that we typically do. And that's part of what we put into our pre-fire plans, those types of things. So absolutely. Good question.
Ron Riami, Dalton. Two things. One, on the electric bikes, are you referring to just having them stored or when they're charging? And then secondly, in terms of EVs or vehicles, are you referring to like individual charging stations in just like a 110 plug, or if I have a 240 level 2 charging station, is that a concern, or is it level 3 charging station?
So the concern that I have right now is I don't know if some of the charging, we do have some 110s, we do have 220s and located in the garages. I actually have no idea if they were permitted or installed properly. That's one thing. If they're not put in within, it's kind of like I don't know if you're aware, but like you shouldn't use, you should match your Apple phone with an Apple charger. When you go and buy stuff like out of the 7-Eleven or any of that kind of stuff and use it, sometimes the phone doesn't know when to stop charging, similar to cars. The batteries, once they get to 70% and they're just left there to charge, the batteries will start to heat up. If there's something that has impacted the battery in some way, or over on the West Coast, for example, after Ian, they had a lot of cars, not just from water intrusion, but just intense amounts of water and saturation from the air that caused some corrosive issues with the batteries, and they then overloaded and started. They had at least 50 car fires over there right after Ian, and you'll see that continue to happen over the course of a year because those batteries don't degrade like right away. It could take a year or longer. Leaving them on charging when people leave is not a good idea. I would just like to know that the chargers that are put in are appropriate for that, recommended by the the manufacturer of the vehicle. I can tell just by the way they're installed that many of them are not. It's just somebody went and got a plug and plug it in, and that's what they're doing. My point is, if you're going to do some, when I was talking about adding charging stations to the condominiums themselves, if the board elects to do that, put a couple charging stations in, I would strongly recommend you put them outside. Don't put them inside. And yes, you're going to have the quick chargers out there, so somebody doesn't necessarily have to leave their vehicle out there. The time that a vehicle is or any of these things is at its greatest risk is when they're charging, when it's being further energized. But as far as again, go to YouTube. There's plenty of videos on scooters and bikes that are just sitting there, and they start to it just takes one of those little cells to break down. The amount of heat that is generated by one cell is 1,200 degrees. It emits hydrogen gas. It's a self-sustaining cascade effect. So one battery after another just goes, and it sounds like a little rocket engine going off when those batteries pop. EV, I don't want to, like I said, we had all the industry people there. We had GM, Lexus, everybody at the symposium. I'm not saying that, anything about EVs that should be taken as, I don't like them, that they're bad, anything like that. But we just have to be, it's just a hazard we have to protect against, just like anything else. We learned how to deal with other, car fires in general, fuel car fires, all those things over time. We added foam when we started putting those out. Foam has no effect on battery cars. Water has very little effect, as all you do is slow down the reaction. And what's really come now is to pull the car out of a garage, leave it in the open, protect the exposures, and let that burn down. Because otherwise you'll be there for hours and you'll dump tens of thousands of gallons of water on this, creating a pollution problem. So that there's just like I said, there's a whole change going on in how we deal with these right now. So.
Very informative. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to continued discussion of Milani Park. I will start with that. Like I had mentioned before, I'd been meeting with the other commissioners, the other county commissioners. I still have one more meeting to go. So still have not completed all my meetings. So far, I'd say it's been more of like an educational type of meetings, because obviously Highland Beach is not very important to some of these other county commissioners, because their district is, their location is different, and we are such a small town, and they're just not aware of all the issues around it. So a lot of it has been just informing them of the issues. The consultants that we've hired, our advocates, are having follow-up meetings with each of the commissioners to further explain our position. So it's kind of how it's going. And I'll let you know once I've met with the 7th, and then we can determine next steps. We're monitoring what comes on the agenda for these county meetings. So far, nothing has come up for Highland Beach, but we will continue to monitor. So still working through the process, very much just following what the consultants that we've hired. We are following what they think is the best course of action. So very much just deferring to them. You know, I think sometimes it might be a little counterintuitive what they're, suggesting, but, they obviously know the best way to get these types of things accomplished. So we're just following their expert advice. And that's pretty much all I have for right now. So
Do we know whether the county has actually moved forward under the terms of the settlement agreement?
I have no information about that. Have you heard anything, Marshall?
No.
No.
No,
Have not
not
heard
yet.
anything about it. Yeah.
All right, well, that's good.
Yeah, I
Nice
think,
and
I think no
quiet.
news is good news.
No,
I do think
no
no news is
movement
good
on
news.
that. Yeah.
If nothing's been on the agenda for them to discuss further, we haven't received any additional notifications,
And nothing further from Commissioner Woodward.
nothing from Commissioner
Okay.
Woodward.
My favorite commissioner. Yeah, and Natasha, thank you for
Thank you.
going around doing this hard job, and maybe we can get 4 commissioners. to,
Exactly.
That's our plan.
That's the goal,
So,
to, educate the other commissioners on all the issues and help them understand the key points and hopefully see the way we see it. Yeah. Anything else, Marshall?
Yeah, just, I will reach out to each of you, individually to give some, some secondary backgrounds. I've kept communication open with the Milanis, expressed our collective opinions, and there's still some discussions occurring. We did order an appraisal, just to let you know, to support, it's been difficult from the education sessions and advocacy sessions are kind of a combo. Some of the county commissioners just want to know, we're asking them and petitioning them to sell it. How much is it worth? All right, so we're just gonna try to solidify that number, and I think it'll help kind of move the needle in certain directions once we have something a little more definitive.
Mhm.
Moving on to town commission comments. Commissioner Goldberg.
Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone. It's been a privilege to sit on this dais this year. And I thank the residents and the voters of Highland Beach for their support and encouragement. It's been really just a wonderful experience for me. And I thank my fellow commissioners. It's Mayor, the Vice Mayor, congratulations. Thank you. It's just been wonderful working together with everyone. And this year we've seen significant accomplishments in completing and reaching many of the priorities that we have set forth for us, all in a fiscally responsible manner, as towns should. And I'm so very grateful to have been a part of that. Together with really an amazing experience here with all of your commissioners. My thanks to the town manager. Certainly for me, it was a great education, fast education on the board. I thank our wonderful town clerk. She's just been so very helpful. So I look forward to the stable growth of our town and the continuing goodwill and shared desire to be the best we can for Highland Beach. Thank you.
yeah, I just want to say briefly, I think, thank everybody. We have harmony up here, and I'm glad we have all the board members back because we are like a family with the town and the town board, and we have a lot of things in the future to accomplish. And I'd like to thank everybody, all the whole town, and all our new elected officers. Thank you.
From talking to other people, it seems we are somewhat unique in that we get along. We discuss things civilly. We come to agreements, and even if we don't all agree, that's okay. No one is at anybody else's throats. We don't call people names. We work well together. We take different ideas and just bring them together, and it is absolutely a pleasure. I thank the voters for passing our referendums. That will make our lives much easier, so thank you. And congratulations to Judy and David and Natasha it's nice to continue with the same people because we know we can work together. And when you work together well, you accomplish things as opposed to just butting heads. And we do, we accomplish things in fairly record time. So thank you all.
The difficult thing about talking after you guys is you give me all my thoughts. But I'd like to echo those, and I thank everyone. It's great working with you folks. And again, thanks to the voters and thanks for the phone calls. And we're going to do our best to continue to do what we do. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Even though we don't have the official results yet from the referendum, I do want to thank everyone for the support and in approving those referendums. And thank you very, very much for the support in me and my office as mayor. I am truly honored to serve. It's really been a great experience. It has been really excellent. Even though it's a lot of work, some of the topics that have come up recently, but it's helpful that we are all working together with Milani Park, with the fire department. It's really great that we can come to a consensus and work together to get this done. I am also want to have to say thank you to staff, town hall staff, fire department staff, police staff. It really is an amazing team that we have here. And of course, my fellow commissioners, congratulations to David and Judy and Don and Evelyn. It's great working with everyone. We really are a great team and all of us collectively together. So thank you very much. Town manager.
Well, congratulations. Thanks for the 5 best bosses a guy could have and allowing me the privilege to be your town manager and move us forward on these tasks and priorities and projects and doing things that people thought we could never do. I mean, you'll hear more of it as we move forward, but some of these things have been quite amazing. We got one more feat in front of us. I appreciate it may not seem like we're moving fast, but we're moving fast and hate to say it like that, government time, but to what we're trying to do with Milani is we're moving fast and quickly and your support has been great. Again, congratulations and here we go.
Excellent. We have one announcement. We will be here again next week, Tuesday, April 2nd at 1:30 for our next town commission meeting. And with that, if we're ready to adjourn, it's 2:28. We can adjourn. Thank you very much, everyone.